Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the woke insanity that we're currently living through in this slow, mad descent towards clown world. Well, folks, today we're talking about clown world stuff. We're talking about the woke mob. Some people apparently didn't get the memo, and the craziest part is that this guy who's currently experiencing trouble with the woke mob, well, he's a comedian. You'd expect comedians would have learned by now to take the Dave Chappelle approach, never apologize. I mean, for Pete's sakes, I should put that on a freaking t-shirt. Never apologize. There is never a legitimate reason why you should ever apologize to the woke crowd. They'll take it as a sign of weakness and walk all over you. Well, once again, I guess this comedian didn't get the freaking memo. He went viral the other day for his offensive George Floyd joke. Unfortunately, I'm not going to play his actual bit on YouTube because, well, I mean, for obvious reasons, but he made an offensive joke relating to George Floyd. And let me add some extra context. He's also a black man himself. Well, you could imagine the response, and, well, he caved. Let me show you guys what's going on. Let's have a conversation about, the woke mob as a whole. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks. So in the leftist utopia world, offensive humor is not allowed. Now, maybe I could play like a small part of the clip. I'm gonna pause the recording, I'll listen to the whole thing, and we'll see if some of the stuff is YouTube friendly.
Know about George Floyd before you get your ass up there talking. You really should know to be funny, don't you know that?
It's called comedy. How many more black fans I gotta hear that might leave? Oh, good shit, man. I got. Just warming up with that George Floyd shit. You ready to go? All right, baby. Okay. All right, you offended too, baby, with the braids? You offended too? God damn, man, fuck.
But anyways, I mean, you could search for it yourself whether I played it there or not. Comedy like that, in a woke world, that's an absolute no-no. Offensive humor is not allowed unless it's targeted towards whites and Christians. Don't we know this? These are the rules of wokeism. It's wokeism 101. The anti-comedy mob, the anti-free speech mob, decided that they were going to make this guy public enemy number one. Of course, the campaign started.
Leaving the show is not good enough, all right? It's not good enough. There has to be social repercussions for this type of behavior. And as long as there are people like this anti-black buffoon we see on stage, guess what? There will always be someone to spew out this anti-black drivel. But I would argue if there were repercussions, just as there are repercussions you wearing the wrong color in the wrong hood, if there were repercussions like that for these people, guess what? That you wouldn't be able to find someone. There has to be a pain point that they understand it's not worth it.
Everyone on Instagram and TikTok, most of those woke circles, was trashing on this guy, and he had one freaking job. The guy had one job. Well, let's just say he had two paths. Path number one, don't say anything. Literally, go social media, public appearance, silence until the woke fake outrage dissipates. Just simply disappear, or take the more hardcore approach, which I find is much more useful, much more effective, and really what's necessary here, and tell the woke mob to frickin' pound sand. Well, instead, this character opted for a different approach, the literal worst approach. This is what he did.
Hi, this is comedian David Lucas. You know me from Kill Tony and other various roast shows. I'm an edgy, push the boundary comedian, and my job as a comedian is to bring humor in dire situations. With that being said, there's a clip that is circulating around social media, and since that clip has came out, I have spoken to a lot of George Floyd's family. I spoke to Cal Wayne, Trader Truth, Steven Jackson, and my intention was to never cause harm to his family or make them revisit a moment that happened a few years ago. I'm a father, so I get it. I understand how his kids feel. I've spoken to his whole family, and we've came, to an understanding as to how to move forward from this, and just want to apologize to his kids and everybody who was close to him.
He apologized. He folded and apologized. Absolutely frickin' spineless, feeding into the bogus narrative that George Floyd is some sort of saint who shall not be spoken ill of. It's this very, very weird situation. You know, people really need to understand that these extremely loud, annoying, obnoxious woke people who feign moral outrage, they are a minority. You never apologize to these people. You think it's gonna end? Does this guy think that all of a sudden his career was getting derailed because of this one joke and now he's brought it back on track? Are you nuts? This is the absolute worst thing you could have possibly done, because essentially you gave them legitimacy. Their criticism of you were unhinged in the first place. Why would you give them, I guess, an acknowledgement of moral superiority? You think they're just gonna let you go now? No, you are now forever the guy who made that horribly offensive joke and then apologized for it. That's a big L in so many different ways. Not only is that a huge L for people who care about free speech and actually enjoy real raw comedy, well, you've essentially lost those people. I've lost complete respect for this man. If you're going to be the hard truth teller, then be the hard truth teller. Don't instantly be intimidated by a couple people on Instagram and fold like a cheap suit. So you've lost us and the woke people who were probably never a fan of your comedy in the first place. Well, they aren't going to come leaping to your defense now, are you? No, they've branded you a horrible, terrible, deplorable comedian. These people don't even like comedy. They're just on a crusade to ruin comedy. And so obviously they aren't coming to your defense. They aren't coming to save you from yourself. No, they want to destroy you. And most importantly, they want you to destroy yourself. And that's exactly what happened. People working in the entertainment industry seriously need to understand this. There is no winning with the woke crowd. Because of course, when it comes to the woke crowd, you can never be woke enough. You can never be good enough. And once you've crossed them, once you've done one thing that they disagree with, that will live with you forever within those circles. I mean, what a sad state of affairs where comedians are apologizing for jokes. Seems like a warning sign for the coming fall of Rome. It's manufactured faux outrage. Nobody cares that you made a joke that offended some people. Well, maybe not nobody. Some people care, but for the most part, nobody cares. People understand that it was a joke. They understand the comedy in it, even if it's pertaining to a sensitive subject. It is fake outrage, and the reason I know it's fake outrage is because Black Twitter and Black Instagram's going crazy over this. It's like the worst thing to ever freaking happen. The social justice movement, that's the way it's presented, but it's all fake, it's all phony, it's all not genuine. It's political and it's selective. Black Twitter and Black Instagram are going crazy over this as if it's the worst thing that ever happened. Meanwhile, over the last 2 years, how many black rappers have been murdered? How many leaders of the community? How many children have lost their lives in inner city communities? Nobody seems outraged over any of that. No, they're outraged over a George Floyd joke. Give me a freaking break. As if this is the biggest thing currently going on. As if this should be the #1 priority of black activism. A complete farce. It's the #1 priority of woke activism, of woke narrative building. People are just offended. People are just angry that the George Floyd narrative hasn't exactly lived up to its fullest potential. The guy made a joke. It was actually rather funny. A couple people got offended. So what? They don't represent the majority. Never apologize to the puritanical, censorious mob. It's a mistake. Your career will end. This guy could have possibly had a career as a counterculture, trailblazing comedian, but instead he caved, and it might have ended his career. And I don't think that's an exaggeration. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.